y'all, my name is Alviana, creator and owner of Nicola J. If you follow me on social media, follow me if you haven't, at Nicola J, you would already know that I just came back from Texas doing my first vendor event. So if you don't know what Dreamcon is an anime, gaming, pop culture, general just space for creatives to kind of get together, have some fun, network. It's in Austin, Texas this year, and it's ran by RDC World 1. Shout out to them. With this being my first time selling in person, I had no idea what to expect, but it went amazing, and I'm super thankful for that. But there were some things that I kind of wish I was more aware of beforehand that I would love to share with you guys. So if you are interested, keep watching. Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow Nicola J on social media, check out the website if you haven't. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Number one, there's a lot more prep than you think. Of course, when you're doing a vendor event, you're selling in person, there's a lot of things that you have to consider that you wouldn't have to consider as an online shop. Things like your shopping bags, how's your table gonna look, how are you gonna get your product down to the event, like things like that you have to consider that wouldn't technically be the same as being online shipping out an order to a customer. When it comes to figuring out which scents to bring, I would definitely recommend looking at your previous sales, seeing which products sold the best and trying to bring those, and even just reaching out to your previous customers and being like, hey, how did you like this scent? How did you like that scent? So you kind of have a good idea of what customers might like and what you should bring with you to your event. And when it comes to like how much product you should bring, this is something really big that I was trying to figure out. It really just depends on the event. I would definitely think about like the audience there, like how many people are gonna be at that event, whether it's like 1,000, 5,000, 20,000 like Dreamcon. You kind of just gotta, first of all, get a good estimate of how many people are gonna be there. My baseline that I saw online was to account that 0.5 to 1% of people are actually going to buy a candle. Out of all the people there, maybe like a little less than 1% will actually buy a candle, buy whatever product you're bringing to the vendor event. When I was trying to figure out how much product to bring, I was thinking like, okay, I don't know exactly how many people will be at Dreamcon. I was thinking maybe between 10 to 20,000. So my goal ended up being to bring 200 to 250 products with me to Dreamcon, because I was like, even if this is an overshot, whatever product that I have left over, I can bring back home, put on the website, bam, I still got stock, amazing. Just overall, there's gonna be a lot to consider. So make sure you actually take the time well in advance to sit down and think about everything so you're not kind of rushing when it's time for the event. Stressing during your first vendor event is no fun, so let's try to get everything put in a row, all the ducks in a row, before you actually have the event. I want you to be able to enjoy it. Me, when I was at Dreamcon, I was like rushing, I was like labeling things, and I was like, oh my gosh, because you don't realize how much time passes by, and then all of a sudden it's here. So definitely think of your things well in advance, prepare your products well in advance. That is a big tip from me to you. The second thing I wish I knew before my first vendor event is that branding is important, so you need to have that on lock, buddy. For my first vendor event, a big goal of mine was to get my name and my brand out there. Of course, I do want to make sales and even potentially make a profit, but more important than that is to really get out there and connect with people and make sure that people know what you're doing, know who you are, so that they can become lifelong customers. They want to follow you, they want to support the future release, not just what you got in that moment. I think that's super important. So that's something I made a big emphasis on. Another thing that I think is important to mention when it comes to branding, business cards. Like, I feel like a lot of people know to bring business cards, but you need to make sure you have them on deck and you have plenty. I have brought maybe like a little less than 250 business cards for the weekend, and I ran out so quick. I wish I had brought like 500. So depending on your audience, definitely make sure to have enough business cards, especially for the people who might want to come up to the booth and not buy anything just yet. For example, like I said, I was in Texas. A lot of people flew in to go to Dreamcon. So when it came to actually buying a candle, they're like, oh, I don't want to have a candle on the plane. You got a business card? Luckily, I did have a QR code as backup, so I recommend that as well. Like just something that people can scan if you run out of business cards. But I just wish they had that card to hold on to as they're, traveling and stuff. Another thing, I wish I had a table runner. So when it came to my booth was cute or whatever. I'll try to insert a picture or two on the screen, but I feel like it lacked some branding. I really wish I had just actually invested in a table runner. A lot went into making Dreamcon happen, so I was like, table runner, it isn't necessary, so I'm gonna go without it. But I really do wish I had it, because it would have just added a certain like chef's kiss of branding, because you had to get close to my tables to see what my business name was and all that stuff. If I had a table runner, you would have been able to see my name and what I sell from a distance, and I feel like that is something useful to have. Overall, when it comes to branding, just make sure that you know your brand, you know your style, you know your vibes, like the colors, the fonts, just making sure that everything is cohesive, so then when people look at the booth, they're like, oh, okay, that's Nicole Leger, and they can associate maybe a certain color. Let's say you always do yellow. They might think of you when they see yellow. Just make sure you have some strong branding, at least know what your brand is and what you represent, and walk into that thing and let them know what's up. So the third and final thing I want to mention as a first-time vendor is that you're gonna have to put yourself out there no matter how uncomfortable it might feel. You can have the product, the tables looking so cute, all the brand colors are cohesive and all that, but if you're not actually talking to people and trying to connect with people, then you're kind of not taking full advantage of the opportunity you have as a vendor. I do personally consider myself to be a shy person, but as a business owner and this is your first time being in person selling your thing, it's important to get out of your comfort zone and advocate for yourself. So like, only you know how much time you spend on your product. For example, only I know how long I take to make a candle. Only I know what kind of wax I use. Like, you know, things like that. What label, where I get my labels from, my business cards, you know, for other vendors. So we's all talking. I think oh yeah, that's something else I should mention. 3.5, make sure you talk to them other vendors. Like, I get, like, you know, you kind of keep it to yourself, you know, have your booth, selling to the people, but it's so cool to talk to other business owners. That was like honestly one of my favorite things from the weekend, was connecting with my neighbor, my vendor neighbors on each side. It was so cool. And it was so much fun talking to them, like, oh, where you get your business cards from? Oh, you use Square instead of Shopify. Interesting, how you like Square. Where do you find other vendor events? Like, you know, things like that. Make sure to talk to the other business owners, because it's like the coolest thing to me. So yeah, that was 3.5. Back to the point 3, like putting yourself out there, talking about what you got going on. If your wax, if you're a candle maker, if your wax is vegan, let the people know. If your stuff is all sourced from the USA, people like that, mention it. Just big yourself up and don't be afraid to, you know, kind of brag a little. Like you have to be able to advocate for yourself as a business owner, because like, who else gonna do it if it's not you? You the one that's like in it, like you the business owner, you better talk about like, my name Aviana, I'm from Nicole Leger, and let me not. You gotta be able to be like, my name's Aviana, I'm the creator and owner of Nicole Leger. All my products are hand poured by me. The labels I create, I do everything on my own, and I create everything with intention to spread love and positivity through scent. Like, you gotta be able to kind of think about how you wanna position yourself as a brand. You just have to be willing to let people see what you got going on. Put yourself out there, even if it does seem a little uncomfortable to talk about it. You'll get used to it as you keep going. And something that I personally find that helps me is the fact that I'm a fan of my own products. Like, my Wedding Wick candles, I love them so much. When you light them, they got the little crackling nut vibes going on. I mentioned that too when I was talking to people. It got, the vibes are there, the scents are there. It just depends on what mood you're in, and like, I don't know, my candles make me so happy, so I'm like super happy to talk about them. So I think being a fan of your own products can help kind of get over those nerves of talking about yourself and bigging yourself up and kind of putting yourself out there. So yeah, there's a lot more that can be talked about, but I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. And don't forget, as you're preparing for your first vendor event, to have fun, go with the flow, and don't forget to be proud of yourself and really embrace the moment, because selling in person for the first time, you know, putting your business out there is a beautiful thing and a great milestone as a business. So be proud of yourself, have fun, don't stress too much, enjoy the moment for what it is, basically. And I want to say a quick thank you to Dreamcon for allowing me to sell my candles. That was an amazing experience being my first time. Also, a quick thank you to my friends who helped me out at the booth. They were super charismatic and got a bunch of people to the table. and helped me out when I was running around trying to get things labeled and stuff. So thank you so much. If you want to stream their music, it's in the description. Of course, one more thing, I make candles and wax melts if you want to check me out. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Thank you for watching. Bye!